See how bright it's up?
Yeah.
You should have known that.
And we're live this time. Don't look at me, bro. What's up, Facebook? Brandon Orr right down here at Reclaiming Lives Recovery Cafe. Today we all have the pleasure of talking to a really near and dear friend of mine. I know, it seems like they're all near and dear friends to me, but I actually know everybody in this town, so that's all that is. But his name's Doug Duvall, and he's got a miraculous recovery story that we're going to be blessed to be able to share with you guys today. And with that being said, what's up, Doug?
What up?
How are you?
Good, man. Blessed.
Are you?
As always.
Why?
Because I'm clean. I live a life of recovery. I have 997 days clean today.
We should have got you on that big 1000, huh?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that, though.
Yeah, it's close.
Congratulations,
It's
buddy.
close.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Trying to.
How's this whole COVID thing been going for you?
It was good up till a week ago, man, when I got laid off. And now I'm just sitting in my home all by myself with my puppy and growing a really great bond with him.
And a really great mullet, we see.
Sick mullet, dude.
It's that mullet, though. What barriers have you found since you've been laid off? Free recovery have you had?
The fact that I can't fellowship in the personal, physical aspect. I do Zoom meetings, but the physical barrier of not being able to be around anybody and, you know, hug and love on people, love them through it, or get the love that I need to get through something has been a pretty big barrier.
Yeah, how are those Zoom meetings going for you?
They're decent. I mean, it's what it is. It is what it is to suffice, you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you're able to help the still suffering addict through the Zoom meeting as well?
Not as much, because it's not physical. It's not as authentic as you know, personal contact is, or the realism isn't there.
Well, we're human beings. We're, you know,
Absolutely.
we need that. We're creatures of habit. We've been stuck in a habit of, you know, personal contact. But I just think that, like, the reason, like, we do these lives right here is because through communication is where it all counts. And I just feel like, you know, I was on a Zoom meeting and I was able to walk somebody through a situation they were going through, and it made me feel good to know that at least I could still use my words to help.
Yeah.
Do you find that?
Yeah, I mean, I've come in contact with a couple people, man, not even through Zoom, but just through Messenger, that, you know, people that reach out that are going through it because of the barriers. And to be able to walk people through it still, even in these trying times, it's powerful.
Right. So, you got a puppy?
Scooby Duvall.
Scooby Duvall?
Yeah.
Scooby Duvall.
Best puppy name
I
ever.
love it.
Best puppy name ever.
Scooby Duvall.
Yeah, can't beat that.
So what have you been doing?
What's so funny, Matt? You good?
So funny.
So funny.
It's like the ultimate dad name for a dog.
My kid named him, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just so you guys know, we have Matthew Mendenhall over here doing on this side. He came down to come visit with his mom and come visit this cafe. Hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll be able to get him on soon too. Major asset to what we do here. But back to you, Mr. Duvall.
Yeah.
The reason I called you here today is because you are a powerful part of what happened. You are a powerful part of my transition from addiction to recovery, and the stories that I got to hear and the testimony I got to hear from you, Doug, not only was moving, but it really changed the outlook and the course of what I wanted to do with my life. And I'll bring a few of those up because I'm sure they're going to come through within your testimony here today and your recovery story. What we like to do here mostly is not really focus on the addiction part of the story, but it's the recovery part, because we're the recovery cafe, not the addiction cafe, right?
Really?
And if you just, you know, you can lead up to what brought you to recovery, but give us a little bit about your recovery testimony, what you've done, your strengths, your hopes, and how you've gotten along this far, so far.
Man. So my story started out with just complete and utter hopelessness. Just wanting a new life, not knowing how to get a new life, because I was so strung out in my addiction. So I remember I got rescued by Medford Police Department, and I say rescued because they gave me my life back, and I didn't see it at the time that they were giving me my life back. But I mean, all the things that happened in my progression in my recovery has significant impact on my life. I can start from being put in the pod that I was put in jail, with multicultural people, people from all different walks of life, and God being put into my life at that moment, because I was so hateful. I had no spiritual connection, and the pod that I was put in had a pastor's son who was from South Africa, and like I remember, you know, in my active addiction, I had been on a good one for.
Was his name Mike?
No.
Okay.
But I remember being on a good one for like a week, man, and I just slept. That's all I did was sleep. But after the first, you know, week of, you know, the fog being lifted, and every night at 9:30 before we settled in, I hear these guys doing prayer circles in jail, which seemed odd to me because I'd never experienced that. But the more and more I paid attention to the prayers, they were praying for me, which, you know, it really got me out of my shell, you know. And then, you know, a couple days went by, and, you know, they just loved on me, man. And like to be in jail and to have the stigma of what jail is and everything else, and to have people come and pray for me, was really eye-opening. And then, you know, I started becoming a part of the prayer circles, started reading the scripture in jail. But back up, like everything also had a significant date when I was getting clean. I got arrested on July 21st, so my clean day is July 22nd, which is my sister's birthday. And the biggest part of that, of it being my sister's birthday, is I remember her praying me into the rooms, and like just really wanting her brother back. And so for that to be my clean date was really eye-opening. And then you fast forward, on my son's birthday, I was accepted into rock court, and I started my rock court treatment and all that other stuff. So I got out on the first day of my son's first day of high school, and so I was able to go and wake my son up and take him to his first day of high school, which, you know, being absent for 3-4 years, however long I was in my addiction, to be able to share that moment and tell my son the last lie, you know what I mean, that I wasn't going to be getting out of jail until the end of September or whatever, and to be able to tell him that last lie and wake him up on his first day of high school, both of us bawling, shedding tears, was amazing. And so I remember going into Jeff Brown's group at On Track and hearing about Oxford, and, you know, I didn't have any housing, I had nowhere to go. I was ordered by the judge to go to the mission, and by fate, I went over and I got an interview for a new house that was opening up for Oxford, which was Mount Pitt. And like the love that was shown for me, the hope that was given to me, by Panda, by Joe, you know, not having any clothes, having a 14-year-old kid that all I wanted to do was rebuild our life back, interviewing for that position. Panda called me on my birthday and told me that I was voted into the house and that my son could come. First night in, knowing I didn't have any toiletries, I didn't have any bedding, I didn't, that house took me and my son to Walmart and bought us everything that we needed to be able to live and start a life. So coming out of jail, having no hope, and to be given as small as it sounds, just to be given toiletries and bedding for myself and my son without any reciprocation, without anything that was asked to be paid back, given back, no debt owed, just out of love. That's where my journey changed. And I devoted a lot of my time to Oxford to be able to give back to the still suffering addict, but more importantly, to spread hope.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where our paths crossed. Mm-hmm. After our addiction, and I'll never forget coming across the street from Ontrek, and my good friend over here saw me, and I said, "What's up, dude?" And he's like, didn't want to talk to me until he saw that I was fat.
Well,
Heavier. I weighed over 200 pounds, so he was cool to talk to me because he knew I wasn't using. And I offered him the opportunity to come and check out Oxford, and he was very hesitant at first until I told him some of the members that were in my house, and we e-bedded him, we interviewed him, we e-bedded him, and man, this dude took off. Absolutely took off. I'm super proud of not only what Oxford did for my journey, but for yours.
Likewise.
Just a super blessing, man. And what keeps me going in my recovery is just like what that says, cultivating compassion. One of the greatest principles that is in Recovery Cafe that I always come back to is cultivating compassion, because without compassion, a lot of people's lives are lost. Without knowing what other people's wants and needs are and being able to fulfill those for other people, whether it be monetary or just spiritual, you got to cultivate compassion. You got to have compassion for other people, because without compassion being cultivated in my life, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So,
Doug, I want to thank you for sharing that with us. That was you could tell it was from rock bottom of the heart, and it was so heartfelt. I too am an alumni of Oxford, and I give a lot of my recovery story to Oxford and the path that it was allowed me to take to be able to not only give back, but B, continually love the still suffering addict through anything they may be going through. Can you give our viewers a little bit of insight exactly what Oxford is?
Oxford is a clean and sober living house that is democratically ran, and what that means is there's a set of bylaws, but each house is autonomous. They can create their own rules. The only requirement basically is, man, just stay clean and grow or go.
And pay your bills.
Pay your bills. One of the greatest things that I loved about Oxford is, I distinctly remember being asked the question, what could I get out of Oxford? Or what was I hoping to get out of Oxford? And I was so broken and I was so hopeless that my instant reaction, my instant answer was, I needed to learn how to live again. I didn't even know how to grocery shop for my son. I didn't know how to cook anymore. I didn't know how to pay bills. But the greatest thing about Oxford is it taught me all that and so much more. I was able to hold house positions, which is the treasurer, which taught me how to pay bills, the secretary, which is, taking notes and just learning how to live again, man. And I'm forever indebted to Oxford, because I mean, my life changed when I got into that house and was able to have my son.
Mount Pitt.
Mount Pitt, yeah.
I have to 100% agree on everything you say there. Like, from the rooms to Oxford, to church, to the cafe, like, we pretty much have a good road ahead of us, you know. What are some of your most special moments from your recovery? Like, what are some like your prized possession, trophied in the back of your head, moments that you'll never let go of in recovery?
Man, so many.
Just give me a couple.
The biggest one is fellowship, man. Like, and I say that because you know, I'm not young. I've lived a long life, but one of the greatest things that I've gotten out of the rooms and in my recovery is unconditional love from friends, people that genuinely just want to see me be a better person and that inspire me to be better than I was tomorrow.
Right.
You know, I've had friends that I've known for, you know, 30 years, man, that when given the opportunity to get drunk or to get loaded, push that on me, knowing the kind of addict that I am and knowing what it would do to me. So, like, I embrace my recovery. I embrace the people that are in my life, in my recovery life, because I love my life.
Amen.
I love my life. I love the people that I have in my life that motivate me and inspire me to be better. And the biggest inspiration in my recovery has been my sister.
Yeah.
You know, I remember.
Give her a shout out.
Heather, I love you.
Yeah, we do.
Biggest inspiration in my recovery is my sister. I recall 6 years ago when she was in her active addiction, catching cases, doing the deed, man. You know what I mean? Fast forward 5 years, 5.5 years, my sister's going to be graduating college in June, and she's going to be a certified alcohol and drug counselor. On top of all that, working full time, taking care of her kids, her granddaughter,
You.
me. I mean, I could only hope to be the type of person that she is. And I love you to death, Heather.
You know, Heather, if you're out there watching, I want to let you know, like, you're such an inspiration to all of us, and we love you so much. Don't ever stop being you, and just keep doing what you're doing. But Doug.
And you better stop crying too.
Yeah, you Sally. So, Doug, that was awesome. That was amazing. I loved every piece of that. But
yeah, I knew that was good.
There's two pieces that I want to put out there that I got to watch you go through. Now, I've known you since I was a boy, and I've never seen you cry. But the first time I did see you cry was when you got independent housing.
Oh man, yeah.
You know, what a great, like, I remember you walked in the door, big old boy, crying like a little old girl, just super scared, not knowing if you were going to be able to do it, you know, moving away from what your structure was, growing up as an adult, and totally coming to the realization that you set goals and that you succeeded on them. Yeah. And I just want to let you know, like, from that moment, like, I've known you a long time, and that was my proudest moment.
Thank you.
Of you, was watching that happen. Took you forever to get your clothes out of my room, but it was cool.
Stupid.
And the other part that I really want to put out there, because I never thought in a million years I'd be able to do something like this, and I got to do it with you, was go to Kansas City for the Oxford World Convention. You and I laughed so hard that our guts hurt the next morning.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just super pleased to have you here today. I'm super blessed that we were able to have you as a part of the cafe, and that you get to use this as one of your pathways to recovery.
Yes.
And we are just so delighted to have you. You're always a pleasure. You always make us smile, you make us laugh, and you always say the dumbest stuff, dude. It's just...
You're welcome.
Yeah. And that mullet, though, like, I think Brian Bosworth wants his mullet back. But with that being said, do you have anything to say to the viewers out there? Any last experience, hope, anything like that?
Man, just through all this craziness, man, just if you're going through it, reach out. And you can reach out to me on Messenger. You can reach out to anybody at Reclaiming Lives Recovery Cafe. Just know you're not alone. Even though it might seem like you're alone, you're not alone. Just pick up the phone.
That's right. All right, you guys. You know how to get a hold of us. We're not going anywhere. We're heading through this chest out, head high. We're not giving up. So if you guys need anything from us, you know where to find us, man. With that being said, Doug, it was a pleasure. I love you to death. Ooh, I almost just cried. I love you to death, and you're my boy, bro.
My boy.
All right, you guys. God bless.